no boss, flexible hours, and doing what you love. That is the allure of freelancing. Sounds like a dream, right? But what if I told you that freelancing is actually like juggling chainsaws blindfolded? Exciting, yes. Predictable? Not a chance. Downright terrifying? Absolutely, if you're not prepared. So today, I'm gonna break down the real lessons that I've learned in my first year as a full-time video creative, with the last one literally keeping the lights on. Never ever look into a bright light. So whether you're just starting out or thinking about taking the leap into freelancing, this video will hopefully save you from making the same mistakes that I did. The full-time freelancing life was thrust upon me as I lost my safe and cushy full-time job. Now luckily, I was already freelancing part-time for about a year and a half at that point, taking on smaller projects to get some extra money on the side. So I already had an ongoing project that I could fall back on. It wasn't like I was completely left stranded in the unknown. Unfortunately, because I had that ongoing project, I didn't really get into the freelancing mindset. I didn't think ahead. I thought it was just, business as usual. It really hit me when that project ended and I didn't have anything else. No clients and more importantly, no prospects. And that is the first hard lesson. Clients won't just fall in your lap forever. Even if you're busy right now, you still need to put in the effort to get new clients. Think and plan ahead. Get your name out there. Because here's the second lesson. If they don't know you exist, they are not going to hire you. And I know what you're thinking, well, duh. But even though it's so obvious, you don't really think about it when things are going well. So for me, because I didn't really know how to get new clients, the first 3 months of 2024 sucked. What I did to remedy that was to start posting earlier work on my social accounts like LinkedIn and Instagram, and also revamp and update my website. Now, out of those 3 things, the only one that worked was posting on LinkedIn. People from my network saw that I was posting and then started reaching out with possible collaborations and jobs. And that's how things started to pick up. Slowly, but surely. So guys, if you don't already, start posting your work on social media. And the second tip here is to build a network of other creatives, not potential clients, but other creatives in your niche or niche adjacent. Because you never know where jobs might come from. If you're a motion designer, connect with illustrators, UI UX designers, creative directors, and so on. If you're a videographer, reach out to cinematographers, directors, sound engineers, video editors, and the list goes on and on. And on top of that, if you are solo in your business, like I am, it can get really lonely. So having a community, people to talk to, is like MasterCard. Priceless. But before you do that, make sure you actually have the right to post whatever it is that you are posting. And I can already hear you thinking, what? Yeah, if you're posting work that you've done for past clients, make sure that you actually have the right to post that. When I started freelancing, I just found a contract template online, modified it a little bit, and just used that. And in that contract, it was mentioned that the right to the work that I was creating, the video, would transfer completely to the client upon full payment. Which at the time made sense, right? Because they pay for it, they should own it. That became an issue when I wanted to post it on my website, add it to my portfolio, my social networks, and so on, because I didn't have any right or claim over that video any longer. So I had to go back and ask for permission. Luckily, it wasn't an issue, but it could have been. And for us creatives, our portfolio is one of the main ways we attract new clients. It's how we show we're good at what we do, and it also shows the progression of our skills as time goes by. And if we can add new projects to our own portfolios in the eyes of potential clients, it means that we're not working. And who wants to hire a non-working professional? So ever since that happened, I added a new line in my contract that specifically mentions that I keep the right to use any work that I create for self-promotional purposes, which means I can add it to my portfolio, I can add it to my website, I can talk about it on social media, and so on. Let me tell you, one of the toughest lessons that I had to learn this year was, just because someone shows interest doesn't mean that it's a done deal. Early on, I got super excited when a potential client reached out or even hinted at a project. I already start imagining the work, the payment, how it would make my portfolio shine, and then they either go silent, change their mind, or decide to, go in a different direction. And it felt personal, I'm not gonna lie, but it's really not. The takeaway here is don't mentally spend money that you haven't earned yet, and don't count on a project until you've signed a contract. Treat every discussion as a possibility, not as a promise. And if they do ghost you, stay professional, follow up politely, and move on if you don't hear back from them. It's just a part of freelancing. And speaking of freelancing, it can feel like riding a roller coaster. A lot of ups and a lot of downs. One month you're swimming in projects, and the next you're biting your nails thinking, where am I gonna get money from? And that is where a retainer client can be a game changer. It'll help balance out those ups and downs. When I landed my first retainer client, it truly felt like a weight was lifted off my shoulders. Suddenly it gave me the freedom to focus on finding more clients and working on passion projects without the constant pressure. So think about how you can pitch this idea to your clients. Maybe it's monthly social media content, ongoing design updates, regular video editing, whatever it is, it can be the foundation of your business and give you peace of mind. Now here's a question for you. Do you know your worth? Not as a human being, but as a freelancer. Do you know what you're worth? When I first started, I want to say I was desperate for work, but I did take on projects for low rates, which in hindsight, big mistake, because it simply wasn't sustainable. So here's what I did. I calculated the bare minimum I needed to cover my expenses, my rent, bills, food, and a little extra for savings or emergencies. And that number became my rock bottom price. If a client couldn't meet it, I politely declined the project. Having a minimum price does two things. One, it protects your time, and two, it ensures that you're working on projects that actually help you move forward. And trust me, clients who value your work will pay what you're worth. And speaking of money, if you're like me and most of your professional career was spent as a full-time employee, when you make the switch to freelance, always think in gross sums, not net. Whatever you negotiate and put into your contract, that is not what you're gonna pocket. This is probably one of the hardest mindset shifts that I had to make. Alright, now this one's a little bit more practical. If you work from home, like I do, you know how devastating a power outage can be. Deadlines don't care if the power is out, but it's not just that. If the power goes out while you're working on a project, it may corrupt the file, and you won't be able to open it again. And yes, I am speaking from experience because that has happened to me, and I lost over 4 hours of work that I couldn't get back. So invest in one of these babies. A UPS can keep your computer running for a little while, giving you enough time to save your work and shut down your computer safely. It's a small investment for a huge payoff in peace of mind. Seriously, if you rely on technology for your livelihood, a UPS is a must. You don't want to explain to a client that you missed the deadline because the power went out. Okay, it's just not professional. All in all, even with all these hard lessons, 2024 actually turned out to be a pretty good year. And if you want to see how I plan on growing my business in 2025, watch this video next.